Hey friends, welcome back to another episode. So this week we're going to talk about how to banish anxiety once and for all. My name is Steph and I'm going to teach you how to unlock the most powerful tool that no one can ever take away from you. Your mind. So tune in, get cozy, and welcome to Sessions with Steph. Okay, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you, I've gone through this as well, where you try to get up sometimes, you try to do simple things like going to the store or going to work, and you have this overwhelming dread where you just don't want to get up, and you're just like, what is this? Like, what the? So first, let's look up what anxiety is, or the definition at least. Be patient, I love you, be patient. So my laptop actually died. But that's okay because we problem solve. It's not as aesthetic, but it's fine. You get the point. Okay, so the definition provided by Google. Anxiety is a common emotion characterized by feelings of fear, worry, unease, and apprehension. And so with that, basically anxiety is, like an overwhelming sense of dread or fear. And it also means, did you know this? You're too aware of your own existence. Like, you're hyper fucking aware. Like, you're not supposed to be that aware. Like, don't get me wrong, you can be intentional with what you do and how you act. But if you're overthinking every little thing you're doing, like, oh, how did I open the door? Oh, how did I close something? How did I look while doing something? Humans are a very confusing and just intense species at times. Think about animals in the wild. They be chilling, they be strutting, right? And they just like do their own thing, but they're not constantly like overthinking like every movement. Relax, chill. You're not supposed to be doing all that. And with you being too aware of your existence, I used to do this too, like all the time. Basically, I would just overthink just all of my movements, all of my steps when I would go to the grocery store, when I would go out, just when I would go anywhere, basically. But I'm going to tell you how to get rid of that. So settle up. And another thing. So did you know like why our nervous system are like so intense first off? Is because like, okay, back in the olden days, like prehistoric times, like caveman type era, we would be like hunted, right? By like wildlife and wild animals and stuff like that. We really were in the survival mode, fight or flight or freeze. And it has to do with like the oblongata part of our brain. So the thing is, we have carried that down. You know how we evolve as humans. We've carried that down. That's been embedded in our nervous system so much. It has arose, now in our day-to-day lives. And we're like, why are we like this? And another thing, if you had like a traumatic environment growing up, like very chaotic, very uneasy, there's a double whammy right there. Basically, it's just your nervous system being in survival mode, like you not feeling safe. You're like, ha, ha, ha. And don't get me wrong, you should be aware of your surroundings, absolutely. But you should walk in a way because you're grown now. You're a grown adult. No one's going to sit here and abuse you anymore. No one's going to do these things to you. It's honestly a thing of mind over matter, of you basically faking it till you make it. And how I overcame anxiety, let me tell you. Because I used to be the type, so first off, I was in a codependent relationship when I was like 21 or so. And I was the type, I could do nothing by myself. I couldn't go to the grocery store. I would have so much anxiety. I couldn't do anything. Like, they had to help me with everything. It was pretty intense. And it's like, when you think about it, why? Because it's like, oh, the freezer all terrifies me. Yeah. But it's because of unresolved trauma, and it's because of you living in your heightened state of your nervous system being dysregulated for so long. You've carried that into adulthood, and you're like, who's coming to get me? And it's like, no one's coming to get you. Like, you're fine. Just take a breather. In 4 seconds. Out 4 seconds. And it's one of those things. And so basically how I overcame it was when that relationship ended, which was very, very codependent. Like, they would do everything for me. Like, they would pay all my bills. They would make sure I was okay. If I didn't want to like cook or clean because of anxiety or just not feeling good, I was just at a really low point in my life where they did everything for me. And so when we split, I was like, okay, now I have to do everything. It doesn't matter if I'm anxious or depressed or whatnot. That's the thing. Like, when you're by yourself, you really see how capable you are of handling things and overcoming things. Because at that point, I, moved across states. I was by myself. I was like, okay, well, if I don't get up and do these things myself, I'm not going to get a job. I'm not going to have money. I'm not going to have food to eat. So I have to do these things. I have to suck up and do these things. And basically how I overcame anxiety was just small steps, like baby steps. Like, first, you have to realize that you're the one that has the power. Let me tell you something. And the way you walk, unmatched. You need to walk with your shoulders back, head up, and you basically need to walk like you own the place. And not in an egotistical, cocky type of way, but in a way that says, hey, I know what I'm doing. I'm secure. Don't fuck with me. No one's going to fuck with me. Why? Because I know what I'm doing and I'm secure. So one thing I had to master with that was my walk. I was like, okay, I can't be like walking like this, like looking scared. Because if you look scared, you're an easy target. That's just how it is. You guys know this. I'm pretty sure, like, for example, the places you've worked at, have you ever worked with people and the ones that are all like quiet and they like cower and shit like that? You're like, that's why everyone messes with them, because they take it. They don't. But the people that are like, they're like, I'm sorry, what did you say? No, you're not going to talk to me like that. You can go do that. No one messes with them. Why? Because of the energy they exude. Energy speaks volumes. So basically, I had like no choice of getting over that anxiety, because it was pretty much like survival at that time. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do all these things myself. Even like going through a breakup, after a breakup, which I was already struggling with depression and anxiety, and I didn't know how to deal with those things. So I'm out of the breakup, and depression and anxiety at its peak. It was great. No, I did learn a lot about myself. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to go to the grocery store, like, if I want food, if I need things. So basically what helped me, I remember learning this anxiety technique, which was breathe 4 seconds in. I talked about it in my last video. I want us all to do it together, because you're going to feel so much better after this video. You're not only going to feel better, your anxiety, you're going to know how to control it and how to be the one back in control, because your feelings are an illusion, you guys. But I'll get into that. So one surefire way, and sometimes you do have to repeat it over and over again, because it is your mind taking back control over your feelings, going back in the driver's seat. So breathe in 4 seconds. Out 4 seconds. And you basically keep repeating that as long as you need to. And that kind of just slows everything down, right? Because anxiety, as we learned earlier, are feelings of like fear or overwhelm. What happens when you're scared? Your heartbeat starts racing, right? You start going like, you start panicking. Everything's going fast. So with the breathing, that helps slow you back down and bring you back into real time. And you're like, okay, I'm fine. Everything's fine. No one's chasing me with a knife type of thing. Everything's fine. And you basically do that as many times as you need to. And you repeat like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm in control. I'm safe. I got this. Nothing bad is going to happen to me. I got this. And it kind of is like brainwashing. Like, it kind of works like brainwashing, right? Because it's like, for so long you've lived in survival mode and you weren't taught how to get out of that. You weren't taught how to deal with anxiety and to deal with these feelings, because these feelings are real. Don't get me wrong. You're valid and they are normal. But the trick is, the golden ticket is having, like I said earlier, having your mind over matter, because it's like, at the end of the day, like, you control this. You run everything. You run and you control how your body reacts to situations, or how you react to situations. Because feelings are an illusion. Let me tell you something. Feelings are such an illusion, and I'm going to prove this. Have you ever thought about something, like thought about a messed up situation, or like a sad situation, like a catastrophic event or something, or someone, I don't know, and you get so sad. You get so sad, like the thing is happening right before your eyes. Or let's switch it around. Do you ever think of an event, like let's say you're daydreaming about something so happy, where you get so happy, you're like, oh my god, like this is fantasy right here. Whether you're like fantasizing about being in an island or accomplishing a goal, and you feel it so vividly and like you get really happy, like it's happening. That's where feelings can be very powerful, but you need to know how to control them. And this is going to help you just get back in the driver's seat and help to control it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, no, I'm fine. Like anxiety usually like arises when you're overwhelmed in a situation, or, you know, when there's a lot of people, a lot of hustle and bustle. Or sometimes it just arises because it wants to be a bitch. It wants to like take control over you. Those are like demons or whatever. So if you have anxiety or fear, how to get over them? A series of steps. And the thing is, my loves, you're not, maybe you will. Maybe you will see the difference overnight, but don't try it for like a day, a week, or even a month, and you're like, oh, it's not working. I'm like, oh, whatever. Wait, let me just fix this light. It's like, no, this needs to be consistent. Like, even if you see minimal progress, babe, I promise you, because like I said, years ago, that was so many years ago. I'm not going to give away my age. I look great, though. But that, like, when I was 21, 22, when I got out of the relationship, my anxiety, like I said, I couldn't even go to the grocery store. I couldn't do anything on my own. And I basically had to relearn. I had to learn. I'm like, well, no one's going to do these things for me. I'm either going to let my mind eat me alive, or I'm going to take control. I'm going to be like, no, like, I can do these things. I'm strong. I'm confident. I can do whatever I put my mind to. I can get up and do these tasks. So it's a mixture of those breathing exercises, which I promise they work wonders. Because they slow you back down, like we talked about earlier. And then just repeating in your head, you're like, I'm fine, I'm okay, I got this, I'm safe. And some other things that can really help with anxiety can be like doing yoga. That has changed my whole life. Yoga, meditation, breathing, like breathing exercises like we talked about. Like you can Google like, oh, breathing exercises for anxiety. But the yoga and meditation, that's more so for like, you know, if you're at home or something. Just a quick interruption. Okay, so the yoga and meditation you can absolutely do anywhere. With meditation, you can become so skilled at it that you can do it when you're working, when you're walking, when you're doing practically anything. And with the yoga, like, for example, if you're at work, can you just straight up, you know, do some yoga cat-cow on the floor? No, but something I would do is go into the bathroom and do standing yoga. So just wanted to throw that in there. You could pretty much squeeze meditation or do it at any point in your day. Okay, love you. These are just practices you can implement in your day-to-day that's going to have just a huge effect. That and also working out, because when you work out, you release endorphins, which are like feel-good chemicals. So just making sure you have these things like just in your regular day-to-day life. But the main thing I want to talk about is having anxiety right then and there in the moment, like what to do. And apply these things. Even over the next 3 days, you'll see your life change like that. You will become a completely different person and just gaslight yourself, brainwash yourself. That's really all it is. Like I said, I went from someone having anxiety that I couldn't even go to the store, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't even drive. I went from someone like that to someone that has my own business, that I get up and I go out and I get whatever I want. I don't take no for an answer, and I don't let people's energy or words have an effect over me. And if they do, it might be for a second and I roll it off. So this is just surefire proof and a reminder that it works. So just implement these things and you really will see just a whole new world. You really will. You will see yourself become a whole new person. Someone that you didn't know you have the capacity to become. You can do anything. You're capable of anything. It all starts with you. Remember that. And let me tell you something. Let me bring up another really good point where feelings are an illusion. Okay, so back then, I knew this lawyer and he would give me, you know, advice and stuff like that. And I remember him telling me, he's like, yeah, I forgot how we got on the topic, but we started talking about, you know, like him getting in front of courtrooms and like doing all that, doing all the whole lawyer shebang. And I'm like, wow, I'm like, that doesn't like overwhelm you or give you anxiety? He's like, oh yeah, all the time. And mind you, he's been a lawyer for, I think, well over like a decade or 20 years. And he's like, oh yeah, I have a lot of anxiety even when the judge is my best friend. Like, it's still a really anxious thing. And that guy, that lawyer that I'm talking about, oh, he has over like 7 law firms, very successful. And the thing is, I'm like, wow, how do you deal with that? And he's like, fake it till you make it. Brainwash yourself. Gaslight yourself, if you will, like a lot of people say. But I remember that crucial bit of information and advice that he gave me that I was like, wow, like anxiety really does happen to everyone and to anyone. And it's how you take it. The same water that softens the potato boils the egg. It's what you're made out of. So are you going to roll over and let anxiety just consume you? Or no? Or are you going to make anxiety your little bitch? And are you going to say, no, I have control. I know what I'm doing. You're not going to take, like, it's not going to take over my mind. I'm confident. I'm strong. I'm going to walk like I own the room, even if I don't. Like, every time, you guys, I've been complimented on my walks so many times. When I walk into, like, stores or restaurants, do I own them? No, but I walk like I do. I walk like I'm confident, because energy is very contagious and it speaks volumes, and people will treat you completely different based on your energy. Like, if you're all, like, small and, like, cowering, and you're not, like, you look like you're not sure of yourself. You're like, oh, they're going to be like, versus someone that walks with their shoulders back straight, head up, they're gonna be like, holy shit, like this person, you know, who are they? They look interesting. They know that they got it going on. I'm not gonna mess with them. I'm not gonna fuck with them. So in reality, it is like all about brainwashing yourself and making that new reality into yourself. Because what happens is, a lot of us, like the people I'm talking to, you grew up, you weren't taught how to deal with emotions. You weren't taught how to deal with anxiety and fear. You were raised in survival mode. And maybe that's all your parents knew. You know, they tried their best. So the thing is, when anxiety and fear arose at a very young age, if you were anything like me, that you turned to vices just to like drown it out or whatnot, you were always stuck in survival mode because you never knew how to overcome it. You always kind of like swept it under the rug. You were like, oh, whatever. But now, my loves, we're going to rewire that beautiful, strong brain of yours. And we're going to make you into a whole new different person. A person that no one's even going to recognize. Like I said. And it's just like, honestly, it's a mix of things. Oh, and then going back to, yeah, that lawyer. Because that was very, like, inspirational for me. I was like, wow, like, you know, you get up in front of, like, countless courtrooms. And the judge is even your best friend and you still have anxiety. And he's like, fake it until you make it. And when I moved to Florida, then I started meeting more millionaires and more people that like started up their own businesses. And I'm like, wow, like I became so intrigued because I'm like, and a lot of them don't have a college degree. A lot of them do, of course, for, you know, the type of career they chose, but a lot of them did not. And I'm like, wow, like how did you get to the point where you're at? And all of them said the same piece of advice, or they all were basically singing the same tune. They're like, fake it until you make it. Be sure of yourself. Because, oh, babe, if you keep faking it until you make it, like, even if you don't feel confident or sure of yourself, or you do have anxiety, because there's days I get up, I have anxiety, you know, that's normal. But it's just you, like I said, you going back into the driver's seat and taking control. You're like, nah, you're like, okay, you having, like, I have anxiety. That's okay. I'm valid. What do I need right now? Do I need 5 minutes to go breathe? Do I need some water? Do I need a snack? Do I need a little power nap if I can take it? Or if you can't, you know, if it's one of those things where you're like out and about, breathing in, breathing out. And just affirmations. Fake it until you make it. You're like, I'm confident. I own the room. I know what I'm talking about. I'm walking like I look like I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing, even if I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, you guys, again, and I want to show you this proof. Like, I'm proof myself, because it's like I used to be the person with the most anxiety, not sure of myself at all, walking with my shoulders hunched, trying to look smaller than what I was. Like, I'm telling you. But years of applying this, like, I really have seen myself turn and evolve into a whole another completely different person that I don't even recognize. And I'm like, oh, who is she? You know that audio? Oh, who was she? But like, I really have noticed that change where it's like, okay, like, you do have to gaslight yourself. And just be sure of yourself. Like, babe, like, again, how I said humans, like, why in our bones our DNA is still very much like fight or flight is because of the prehistoric times, like, you know, animals always hunting us or something. And it's like, that's not the case anymore. And for a lot of you, I know you grew up in fight or flight. I know you grew up in survival mode, and that wasn't fair to you. It wasn't. You were supposed to have, you know, a life of calm and ease, but we can't rewrite the past. There's no point moping and, you know, pouting. But what can you do? You're an adult now. You can take care of yourself. You can make sure that you're safe and no one's ever going to mess with you again. And how no one's ever going to mess with you and people are going to take you seriously. And you're just going to you're going to rid anxiety from you so you can live your best life, are to apply these steps. The breathing techniques, the affirmations. And I want you guys to do something. You can either pause the video or it can be like your cute little homework. You could do it later. I want you to start looking in that mirror because affirmations are so powerful. Like, for a lot of you, if you saw my last video, I talked about Bruce Lee's famous quote. The quote was like, words cast spells, that's why it's called spelling. And they do contain a lot of energy, a lot of power. It's like that quote by Aristotle, I believe. I might be wrong. It was a philosopher. I think, therefore I am. Manifest. Create. Words will shape your reality, whether you want them to or not. So be very careful what you're saying and what you're saying about yourself. So back to the homework. I get sidetracked a lot, bear with me. I want you to start looking in the mirror every day. Look into those beautiful big eyes of yours. And you're going to say, I'm powerful. I'm confident. I'm sexy. And just basically whatever you want to hear, whatever you need to hear. Like, oh, I'm beautiful. I'm fearless. I can do anything I want. I'm powerful. Like, whatever. These affirmations, you can tailor them like whatever you want to say about yourself. Like, I know for me, when I started off on my little affirmation journey, and it has changed my whole world. It really has. Like, even if I do have, it's gotten to the point now where if I do have, you know, a brief moment of anxiety, or if I do have those days that are anxious, no one can really tell. Because I know how to handle it so well now. I know how to take care of my body and my mind so well, where I still walk like I own the room, I walk like I own the place, and I talk like I know what I'm talking about. Because that's one thing. It's like you have to be sure and you have to be confident about yourself, or no one else will. You set the tone, you set the standard, okay? You create your reality. That's why you guys, you are so powerful. You have no idea, okay? So do those things. Do the affirmations in the mirror. Do that breath work. Very, very powerful. And when you do have anxiety, just think back, because humans, we are so connected. We're connected whether you like it or not. If someone else can do it, you can do it. Point blank. Are you given the same resources as someone? Maybe not. But if someone else can do it, you can do it. And I just think back to that story. I think back to those stories of all the millionaires I met, all the successful people, and they were singing the same tune at the end of the day. Fake it until you make it. Because one day, you're not going to be faking it anymore. One day, you're going to be like, oh, wow. I'm really sure of myself. I'm confident. Like, this is great. Like, I can breathe. The freezer aisle doesn't terrify me. Yay. And not only that, but, oh, babe, you will be able to command rooms and rule rooms. And your energy is just going to attract so much abundance and love and things that are sure of you. Because when you start being sure with yourself, the world will reflect that. Remember, the world is a mirror. As within, so without. There are all of these powerful, short, little cute sayings that basically speak like an essay's worth. Like, I could go on and talk about quantum physics and manifestation and why your words are very powerful. I could go on and on about that. But these little phrases are to remind you in a few seconds, as within, so without. What you think on the inside is what you're going to attract on the outside. Because the universe runs off of energies, whether you like it or not. That's why you always attract what you are, not what you want. So, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. I love you. Be sure of yourself. I don't want to hear it. I really hope you found some value from this. If you did, please let me know in the comments, or please let me know what you'd like for me to talk about next. And if you want to, like and subscribe. It would help me out a lot. But remember, you're a baddie. You got this. And you can do anything you want. Okay, stay smart, stay sexy. Bye.